When the Diamondbacks win, they still somehow lose somebody. We are talking about the Diamondbacks winning 4-1 against the Chicago White Sox, but losing Ildemaro Vargas to a broken foot in today's game. In 30 seconds, don't you go anywhere. Welcome into another edition of the PHNX Diamondbacks podcast right here on PHNX. My name is Derek Montia, occasionally known as your mayor of PHNX. Well, we got the dog and all of us on the ones and twos today. Damon Dog, aka Damon Farrell, is here to discuss the Diamondbacks winning this one over the Chicago White Sox by a score of 4-1, but still somehow losing once again, much like they did yesterday. Of course, this show is brought to you by our friends at Bet365 and our friends over at Game Time. Make sure to go download that app, that Bet365 app, and use our code of PHNX365 when you do. You sign up, you'll get $150 in bonus bets once you follow some steps. And then over at Game Time, of course, use our code of PHNX. You'll get $20 off your first ticket purchase, and make sure to make your last-minute ticket purchases over there at Game Time. This one was another game that the Diamondbacks should have won and did win today. A big win for the Diamondbacks, but a big loss in the process. That is now 3 players in 2 games that have been lost to injury to the Chicago White Sox. And even though the Diamondbacks have won both of these games and now have won this series, it still feels hard to celebrate the win with yet another player being injured in this one. And again, thank you guys for being here. Appreciate you guys being here in the chat. Great to see all of you here. Benjamin Hunley, this one, of course, I'm going to read this super chat right away. Thank you for your super chat. He says, Tim Tawa is awesome. That's it. That's the chat. And I love that chat because that is a very accurate chat. Tim Tawa has been awesome for this team, and he once again stepped up when the Diamondbacks needed him, made some great defensive plays, and again, just does whatever is needed, is the human utility knife right now for this team. But Diamondbacks win this one over the Chicago White Sox by a score of 1. They improved to 41-38 on the season. They are now 14-7 in the month of June, and they have the best record in the National League in the month of June, and it's June 24th. What? What? How? After all these catastrophes and calamities, after all of this bad stuff happened to them, after losing so many pitchers and now so many position players, the Diamondbacks still sit at 14-7 this month, and they are continuing to take care of business despite how many members of this team are missing. And you got to love that. You got to appreciate that. But what we don't appreciate is another White Sox player, another player in general, hitting one of our batters and injuring them. Ildemaro Vargas was hit by a pitch in his right foot in his first at bat in the second inning. Vargas has a fractured 5th metatarsal in his right foot. It's the bone on the outside part of your foot right there. Doesn't feel great. It is a common break, but a break that didn't need to happen because another one of our players didn't need to get hit by a pitch. So you can add him to the list of players that are now on the IL for an undetermined amount of time. Vargas was having himself a great season, honestly, at a major league level. I know it's a small sample size, but he was hitting 286 with a 774 OPS. And this is a devastating loss considering how many losses the Diamondbacks have already experienced. There's some breaking news, I guess. Blaze Alexander, Damon, was pulled from the Reno Aces game tonight, which doesn't surprise anybody, shouldn't surprise anybody. Apparently, Jordan Lawler right now is nursing a hamstring issue. He's not on the IL, but he has some sort of injury, something wrong with him. But it sounds, Damon, like Blaze is probably on his way as soon as possible.
Let's do it, man. Last time Blaze came up, start the season, he gave us a lot of good, early innings. Maybe he can provide a spark early on.
I mean, that's one thing to say about all of this is guys like Jake McCarthy, who started today in replacement of Corbin Carroll, and other young players are getting a tremendous opportunity here.
Yeah, how's that for a spark, Derek?
I mean, again, Jake McCarthy was excellent today defensively. He made he robbed at least one home run from the White Sox. He also made himself a tremendous play on another fly ball there in the outfield late in the game. But this was another Ketel Marte game. Ketel Marte is what I want to call him because I want more of Ketel, and he's hitting more because it was another multi-hit game for Ketel. He had a solo home run in the first inning that put the Snakes up early. It was his 15th home run of the year, 106.7 mile per hour exit velo, and that bad boy went 401 feet. He added another hit later in the game, and now Ketel Marte has 5 consecutive starts with 2+ hits in a game. His 8 extra base hits in his last 5 starts continues a career high that he already set in yesterday's game, and he has 15 hits in his last 5 starts. Another multi-hit game for Marte, so just incredible. We are very concerned here, though, because during the broadcast, they brought it up. Many of you may know, maybe somebody in the chat might see an update or might see something on it, but the broadcast did show that Ketel Marte was being consoled by Torey Lovullo, being consoled by teammates while he was crying in the 7th inning during the pitching change, and we do not like that. We do not like that. We think that this obviously is something maybe personal. I'm not sure. Ketel did not exit the game. And again, I don't want to speculate on what it could be. The broadcast did kind of bring up maybe Ketel had learned about Ildemaro Vargas's injury, and I am very skeptical that that's it. The Ketel loves his teammates, but I don't know if it was like that. I don't know if he would be in tears over it. Maybe there's some frustration boiling over there. I know that many of us were probably in tears seeing what happened to Vargas because this is yet another player on this Diamondbacks team that got injured, and it's Vargas, right? I don't want to be overly dramatic. It's not like Ildemaro Vargas was a key member of this team. He was just recently called up and hasn't been playing here for very long. It just feels like, man, this season just won't stop. This bad luck that the Diamondbacks are having this year just won't quit. We have 2 players yesterday, Gino Suarez and Josh Naylor, leave the game for separate reasons. Gino also got hit by a pitch. Josh Naylor, he leaves the game with right shoulder discomfort, and we have no idea the extent of his injury, at least at the time. Then we find out after the game that Corbin Carroll has been placed on a 10-day IL because he does indeed have a fracture in his left wrist. It's a left wrist chip fracture, and he's going to miss an undetermined amount of time. Gabby Moreno is on the shelf, and please don't make me go through the list of pitchers that are injured, let alone the ones that are gone for the rest of this year and most of next year. It's mind-blowing how bad this situation has been for the Diamondbacks, right? And it couldn't come at a worse time because now some difficult decisions have to be made about guys with contracts that are expiring at the end of the year come the trade deadline. And it's hard, no matter how well this team performs, for Mike Hazen and the front office to continue to believe in them. But you have to, because they have the best record right now in the month of June at 14-7. This team is responding to all of this. This team is an underdog. And again, they're led by Damon Dog with whatever the hell he brought to this show starting at the beginning of this month. But there just goes to show the impact of Damon on this team. And again, maybe it is Damon. Maybe it is the fact that ever since all of these injuries started happening, it took the Diamondbacks from a place of being a contender and placed them firmly in an underdog role that they know far too well, and that maybe, just maybe, Torey Lovullo is better at managing from that kind of role rather than a role where a team has high expectations. It seems to be the case so far, And I wouldn't be surprised if that's the reason why this team is responding. They have a chip on their shoulder. They have a point to prove, and they're not going to let injuries, no matter how many occur, stop them from winning baseball games, at least right now, right? We talked about how difficult this stretch is. Well, so far in this 10-game stretch, the Diamondbacks are 5-1. 5-1 in this 10-game stretch, starting with the final game in Toronto, the 3 games in Colorado, and then so far the 2 games here against the Chicago White Sox. That's pretty good. And then they could do the S word tomorrow, which I'm not even going to, I probably shouldn't have even said that, right? That was probably a bad idea. But Ketel Marte, I hope that everything with him is okay, because we can't take any more bad news. And to see Ketel Marte crying like that, as much as I do hope it's him having an overflow of emotions about his teammate's injury, I'm far more concerned that it's something far more personal to him. And my heart goes out to whatever news he received. We were talking
you
about
obviously
it.
Don't want to speculate on something like that, but you'd be hard pressed to believe that that's just about Vargas's foot and like being overwhelmed with emotions. That was an extremely kind of hysterical, breakdown. It seemed like it was something much deeper than that.
Yeah.
And the way Torey went out there.
No, but
to talk to him.
What I will say is that people like Killer Rex are somehow in the chat trying to spin this around and blame Torey.
How could you not blame Torey for people getting hit by pitches?
I don't know. Yeah, it's totally Torey's fault for the fact that people got hit by a pitch. Killer Rex, you're totally right. So whatever you said there,
teams actually throw at our players because they hate our manager just as much as 10% of this fan base.
Yeah, well,
I don't know if you knew that.
I'll tell you, if they close the clubhouse, there's a good chance that it's bad. It's probably very bad, and I don't know. We were discussing it. Probably not something, to discuss, but we were talking about if that's something that you should tell a player in a game. And I mean, maybe it was up to Ketel to stay in this game. Maybe leaving the game doesn't really do anything, but it feels like one way or another, either the information is important enough to relate to the player and have them leave the game, or it's not, and maybe you could wait until after the game to inform them of whatever it is. But chances are whatever it is was important enough to tell Ketel as soon as possible. And it's really, really unfortunate that whatever black cloud hangs over this team right now continues to hang over them, yet they find a way to win. The offense, again, was fairly stagnant today outside of Ketel. Ketel continues to do his thing. I mean, his numbers this year are insane, by the way. Ketel slashing 320, 424 with a 608 slug for a 1.032 OPS. Go vote for this man to be a starter in the All-Star team. Wait until after the show, but go vote for this man to be an All-Star. Go do it tonight.
Pull up a second tab.
Yeah,
don't close out of this one.
Yeah, there you go. Offense there was kind of stifled by White Sox reliever Mike Vasil. They did not make this man work enough, Damon. We looked up. He was in the 5th inning. He had 46 pitches thrown in 5 innings of work. The Diamondbacks were just making his day entirely too easily. He only allowed he did allow runs after he left the game. He did have a couple of base runners on. He pitched 5 1/3 innings, gave up 3 hits, 1 earned run. But when he left the game, the Diamondbacks had a huge 7th inning. The game was tied at 1-1 prior to that. The Dbacks were held to just 3 hits total prior to the 7th inning, including Ketel's home run. But with Grichuk and Tawa on with 1 out, Alek Thomas made it a 2-1 game with a huge RBI single. He then stole a base. There was a sac fly by Jose Herrera that scored Tawa. That gave the Snakes a 3-1 lead. And then our Risp King, Geraldo Perdomo, does it again. An RBI single. It scored Thomas, especially after Thomas got that extra base on the stolen base, and pushed the lead to 4-1, which is how the game ended. But the Diamondbacks got some great pitching today from Ryne Nelson and their bullpen. Once again, I will somehow say Diamondbacks might have found their guys, but they also got some great defense today. Like I said, McCarthy robbing Ryan Noda of that home run in the bottom of the 2nd. And then he also had that great catch to end the 7th inning. And then Alek Thomas made a pair of really good catches there in the 5th inning. Once again, reminding us about the no-fly zone outfield out there with Jake McCarthy and Alek Thomas in center field. It was kind of great to see those guys out there covering a lot of ground. Alek Thomas balled out today, by the way. He delivered both defensively and had that big key hit at the plate. He stole a base, run scored, RBI for him, 1 for 4 today. But of course, our guy today is Ketel Marte, and that is mostly just because we want to definitely celebrate Ketel Marte and hope that everything is going well for him. Ketel Marte is 2 for 4 today. He had that big home run. He has a 5-game multi-hit streak. And, of course, something terrible that also happened to him, or some terrible news that he got in the middle of the game. I guess I'm not surprised at all to see Ketel stay in a game after receiving bad news, but is that surprising to anybody in the chat at all? I don't feel like it's just Ketel Marte, right? I mean, it's baseball
Karen
is
brings
that
up
important to him.
The good point of where it's like, what news is he really receiving out in the middle of a pitching change?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
that's what's surprising. It's like you would think at that point of the game, even if it was terrible news, that they would just wait for him to be off the field.
7th inning, right?
Like wait for an extra 3 frames and then get him in the clubhouse and tell him behind closed doors.
Yeah. And like Candace says, it's definitely something more personal. They had the clubhouse closed tonight. We saw on the postgame show, I don't believe they got a chance to talk to Torrey. And I'm not surprised. This one, again, there are wins sometimes in life that can still feel like losses. And today is a player that isn't been that significant to the team this year, but it just might be the straw that kind of breaks the back here of this team. Like, it just might be that final straw that just makes you kind of throw your hands up and wonder what more can we do? Why does this keep happening to us? Right. So I don't know. It really sucks because, again, Vargas was filling a role and he was a versatile player. I was looking forward to seeing him come up this year, all year long. If you go back and listen to our episodes, I was banging the drum for Vargas to come up. So I was pleased to see him not only on the major league team, but having the success he's been having. But Ryne Nelson definitely also deserves his flowers today. And we are going to talk about his performance on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondbacks show. Well, you know what doesn't belong in your epic summer plans? Getting burned by your old wireless bill. That's why you need to check out Mint Mobile. While you're planning beach trips, barbecues, and 3-day weekends, your wireless bill should be the last thing holding you back. But right now, switch to Mint Mobile and check out some amazing coverage that you can get, but for way less money. And for a limited time, Mint Mobile is offering 3 months of unlimited premium wireless service for just $15 a month. So while your friends are sweating over data overages and surprise charges, you'll be chilling, literally and figuratively. Ditch overpriced wireless and get 3 months of unlimited service from Mint Mobile for $15 a month. You can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. And again, it's a great way for you to save some money this year. Breaking a sweat and breaking the bank. Skip all of that. Get this new customer offer and your 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Diamondbacks. That's mintmobile.com/Diamondbacks. Upfront payment of $45 required, equivalent to $15 a month. Limited time new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 30 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. And let me tell you, Damon, I don't want to ever pay for tickets from the box office at full price ever again. And I also don't want to make decisions on if I have to go to shows or concerts when the tickets drop. I don't do that. My friends all scramble for tickets. I wait. I lay in wait and I wait. And then the day of the show, I save 60% off over at Game Time. And that's what you guys should do. Of course, new customers can use our code and save even more. Get $20 off. But with Game Time, you're already saving a lot, and most importantly, you're procrastinating. I don't have to refund tickets. I don't have to change plans. I have no idea if I'm even going to be healthy and able-bodied to go to a concert 6 months from now, so I can't commit to that. But when the show comes around, as Damon can attest to, I will definitely have FOMO, and I'm still going to get in. So I do that with Game Time. You can get a panoramic view of your seat, so that way you know exactly what your view of the stage is going to look like, and they have all-in pricing where you can see exactly what the total cost is going to be with no surprise fees at checkout. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account and redeem code PHNX for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Damon, what time is it?
Game time.
It's game time. It's also, as much as I talked about being hot and not sweating in that Mint Mobile ad, it's very hot in our office.
Oh,
and
my
I'm
God.
sweating a lot. It's
a workout.
Just to pull back the curtain. It's a sauna. We're just out here. We're sweating for the boys, like the Diamondbacks players are literally breaking bones for baseball. The least we can do is sweat for it.
If you guys want to be in solidarity with us, maybe turn off the AC in your house.
Yeah. Turn on every light that you have, the brightest lights, the ones with the highest wattage, and take the lampshades off and point them in your face.
Let's do this together.
Let's do it. But I'll tell you who did it today was Ryne Nelson. Another solid outing for Nelly. I don't know how he does it. I'm not going to lie. Nelly is incredible. And I mean, I'm very thankful for him. It's like I said, the Diamondbacks should be thankful that they do have the depth they had, even though that depth is completely gone now at this point. So I just feel like we should be thankful that the Diamondbacks have these kind of players that are able to step up into the starting rotation and give the performances that Nelly has given. However, with that being said, and with all the compliments being out there, I don't know how Ryne Nelson does it with his fastball, because his fastball once again did all the heavy lifting today. He threw it 68 times out of 87 pitches. That's a 78% fastball count. White Sox players knew exactly what was coming, and there wasn't anything they could do about it. I'll point out here on this chart that red is the fastball, in case you were wondering. The other pitches are other pitches that he obviously didn't feel very comfortable throwing. 78% fastballs. That has to be a new high for Nelly. That has to be. But he did get himself finally into a bit of trouble. It's just his command with his fastball is excellent. It's incredible, and that's what keeps Nelly in this game. I mean, I think the majority here is that when you look at those fastballs, there are some right down the middle. And again, that's when, like in the fifth inning, he started to get himself into a little bit of trouble. He did have Alec Thomas bail him out with some incredible catches today, but it's his ability to have those pitches all in the zone on that edge, to keep him high up in the zone, to keep him low in the zone, just to keep him in the zone without it being right down the middle. Yeah, Ryne Nelson's command with his fastball is just excellent. Today didn't have his finest outing by any stretch of the imagination, but he did go pretty deep today. He threw 87 pitches, and he's getting closer and closer to that mark of being fully stretched out. I think he's probably there, maybe one more start. But he did go 5 innings today. He only gave up 1 hit. It was a home run allowed to Robert, who, again, very good baseball player. 3 walks today, 7 strikeouts. Let's throw that Circle K strikeout meter up there for Nelly, because boy, he does it. He does it with his fastball, and he did it again today. He lowered his ERA to 3.71, and again, I can't say it enough. Ryne Nelson, he is the godsend right now for this pitching staff. Him and Eduardo Rodriguez, especially going in these 2 games. I know it's against the White Sox. I know there's going to be people that say that to us and comment on this video or on our tweets about it, that, oh, it's just against the White Sox. But quite frankly, we haven't seen our starting pitchers going out there and shoving when they should. That's been part of the problem, right? There's been a lot of pressure applied to the bullpen, and there's just been some very inconsistent performances all season long. I mean, quite frankly, Ryne Nelson has been one of the most consistent starters outside of Merrill Kelly. Those 2 guys. But Nelly a little less consistent, just because, again, if his fastball isn't working, a fastball that he throws 78% sometimes in his outings, then he doesn't have much to go to, right? So that's my concern. But I will say that there's an incredible guy right now that deserves his playing time right now, starting for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And again, he went out there and got the win today for the Diamondbacks, and they need him. They needed him so bad. They need him to pitch like this. They also needed Eduardo Rodriguez to pitch like he pitched yesterday. And again, like I said, I know people are going to say it's just against the White Sox, but is Eduardo Rodriguez, in fact, our ace? I'll leave that to you guys to decide. Since returning from the injured list, he's been incredible. Yesterday, he pitched 6 innings. He gave up 5 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, 10K, and a 10-0 win over the Chicago White Sox. And then the Diamondbacks again win today. They secure the series win. But in his 4 starts since returning from the IL, Eduardo Rodriguez has 22 innings pitched. He's given up 5 earned runs, 3 by home run. He's given up 7 walks, and he's struck out 22 batters. He has a 2.05 ERA in those 4 starts. I had somebody coming at me about the quality of opponent, but 2 of those teams were Seattle was one of those teams, and Toronto, and both of those teams have very good offenses. So you can't say that he was playing against a team that doesn't really score runs. Eduardo Rodriguez and Ryne Nelson have been the reason why the Diamondbacks have the best record right now in the month of June in the National League. And if this team goes anywhere, it's going to be because these guys stepped up. And so far, when called upon, both of them have. So that's just been a really great thing to see in these last 2 games. And it's something that the Diamondbacks need, right? Today wasn't an onslaught like yesterday where their pitching could have been bad and the offense scored 10 runs, so it was enough to really pick them up. Today was a pretty close game, and outside of that 7th inning, the Diamondbacks didn't have much offense today. But the pitching was outstanding, and when I say that, I don't mean just Ryne Nelson. I actually mean the bullpen, which is just crazy to say, Damon. I actually mean the bullpen. It's wild. Backus, 2/3 of an innings pitched, 1 hit allowed, 1 strikeout. Ryan Thompson, tea time, 2/3 of an innings pitched, no hits allowed, 1 walk, no strikeouts for Thompson. Beeks and Miller, quiet night, which was nice to see, right? 2/3 of an innings pitched for Beeks, 1 inning pitch for Miller. No fireworks, no excitement, no nail biting from this one. The bullpen got the job done. And I mean, Kyle Backus has been outstanding. Ryan Thompson has gotten it together. Jalen Beeks has done it all year. And Shelby Miller is really coming to his own in that closer role. I know it's not great for him. I know it's not great for any of us, but the bullpen has allowed 1 earned run in their last 17 innings pitched. I'm going to say that again for you in the back. The Arizona Diamondbacks bullpen has allowed 1 earned run in 17 innings pitched. I didn't believe it either. And look, I know it's against the White Sox. It's against the Rockies. I get it. I'm not going to I just said it one time loud. I'm not going to get crazy about it. But still, it's confidence. It's building something. It's putting together guys that it's almost like one at a time. They had to find somebody that could step up. And at the very least, fans should be satisfied that they haven't allowed bad pitchers to stay in this bullpen for too long. I know a lot of times they get injured and have to leave because of an injury, but still, they've no problem moving on and trying to find the next guy to step up for them. And so far, these guys have done that. At least Backus, right now for the Diamondbacks has a 1.59 ERA. Jalen Beeks lowers his ERA to 2.92, and Shelby Miller's ERA is now sub 2 at 1.97. So again, they have been incredible, got some great defense behind them today, and held this Chicago White Sox team that is a bad team to just 1 run. But we've talked about the fact that the Diamondbacks don't really do this. They don't necessarily take care of business against the bad teams that they should. If they did, their record would be much, much better than just 41-38 as it stands right now. So I don't know, though. I don't know what this news that Ketel Marte has received is, and I don't know how emotionally draining this is going to be to this team going forward. I'm concerned about that because right now, again, it feels like even winning on the field isn't enough to overcome the adversity that's being put before the Arizona Diamondbacks. And it sucks. It sucks because we've had several wins, not only actual wins, but You know, we've had these situations like the House Bill 2704, which we're going to talk about a little later, passing through the state Senate, passing through the House, and it feels like we can't even really be excited about this basically slam dunk that's about to be finalized and approved for the Diamondbacks, keeping them in Arizona long term, keeping me from having to scream about sending postcards and doing all of this stuff we talked about last week. I'm so glad that we don't have to do that. But all I've done is make shorts about players being injured, it feels like. And I've done videos, and we did a whole trending podcast today about players being injured.
Try being me.
I mean, Damon can't keep up with it. He's sick of it. He's sick of it, mostly because he usually likes to do like positive content. He usually does like
Ohtani belongs in prison content.
Yeah,
but like,
that too. Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
That
not
kind
like
of stuff.
not like Dbacks depressing stuff.
Oh yeah, no, trust me. I was just crying and writing scripts and making notes last night. It was a bad night. Listening to all of this news, listening to all the bad updates in regards to all of our players. And I guess we will talk about that on the other side of this break. I don't want to, but we probably should. And we'll talk a little bit more about some of these numbers from the Diamondbacks win over the Chicago White Sox. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, a fun way to use this new app, Vimy, might be maybe for us to make a non-monetary bet about what's the next bad thing that's going to happen to the Diamondbacks. Oh, I don't know. We can manifest all sorts of bad things. I'm sure we'd still be wrong. I'm sure whatever we cooked up, it would be worse. But Vimy does help settle arguments. It helps settle bets. It helps settle all sorts of situations. Vimy is a first of its kind person-to-person betting app. And there is finally an app where you can bet with anyone, anything, anytime. Vimy is proud to sponsor or partner together with us right here at PHNX to launch this brand new app. And of course, wagers can be for money or for free. You can bet on anything. You can bet on video games. Come get these hands in Mario Kart World. I will take you all out in that, and we can definitely bet on Vimy. You can also bet on sports, fantasy matchups, golf games, poker nights. Great way to make sure that everybody chips in, especially when people say they don't have the cash. All through Vimy. Can do a push-up contest. That's another one that I will body these guys in the office here with. But whether it's 1v1 or group challenges, you can get it all on Vimy right now. Whether you're running a poker buy-in game, throwing cornhole, it doesn't matter. The best part about Vimy is no more chasing cash. Everybody settles up. No more I'll pay you later. They can all chip in on the app. If you have a disagreement or you want to antagonize some of your friends, it's a great way to do it through Vimy as well. So I've lost a bet or two around here. I've always stuck up to my bets, especially the ones involving the Waffle House. But download the Vimy app and you can make sure all of your bets get settled between you and your friends. Download the Vimy app right now and play today using code PHNX. Available on the App Store and Google Play. Vimy, anyone, anything, anytime. And we all know LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great resource for us all, but as a small business owner, it might be a key resource in you finding qualified candidates. Let LinkedIn be your hiring partner. When you clock out, LinkedIn clocks in. LinkedIn makes it easy for you to post your jobs for free, share it with your network, and get qualified candidates that you can manage all in one place. Of course, this is a great place not only for candidates to find jobs, but for you to find qualified candidates. And of course, at the end of the day, that's the most important thing for your small business is the quality of your candidates so that you're not wasting your time. LinkedIn, you can feel confident that you're getting the best. Based on LinkedIn data, 72% of small business owners using LinkedIn says that LinkedIn helps them find the highest quality candidates. Find out why more than 2.5 million small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring today. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/Dbacks. That's linkedin.com/Dbacks to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply.
Derek, we do indeed have an update on what made Ketel so emotional.
Oh, let's hear it.
Here's a tweet from Casey Drotter. He says both Tori Lovolo and Geraldo Perdomo were very emotionally confirmed that tonight a fan yelled something to Ketel Marte about his mother, who passed away in a car accident in 2017. The moment left Marte visibly upset on the field, and the fan was ejected.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I will fight this person myself. Is the fan still in the parking lot in Chicago? I don't know. I'll go. I'm not above flying to Chicago to go fight somebody in a parking lot. I know Ketel Marte might be over it, but or above that, but I'm not. It's disgusting fan behavior. It really is. It's where people forget that there is a human being there.
That's insane, man.
And that human being is a real human being that has experienced some unimaginable losses and suffered a great deal over the loss of somebody that he loves so much. I don't understand why people choose to do that, especially when I mean, you use stuff about baseball against him, right? Make fun of his hamstrings or something like that. Like, there's no reason for you. And even that might be too far in some people's circles, but not in mine. Like, if you keep it baseball related, no matter how much of a scumbag you want to be, at least that's something. But to bring in personal stuff like that is obviously crossing a line. This is not information I even need to share, right? Like, this is common sense that's going too far. But what I will say in regards to this is we do forget that athletes are real people, right? We do forget that that is a real human being. And I would go to say that this goes for other aspects of it. And I'm not going to call out anybody in the chat that's still screaming about Torey in some way. But I mean, for me, yeah, I've said it before. I've never even tried to hide it. I think Torey Lovullo is a wonderful person. I think he's a delightful man. I think he is one of the best human beings I've ever met. And it's hard for me at times, because of knowing him as a real person, to be objective about Torey. And I don't really hide that. I will say that, though, about several players on the team. I know that there are journalists that write and cover this team, and they are very professional, and I am not. I am not that. I have a chance to be around these guys. Like, I legitimately felt myself having tears well up in my eyes, because just the other day when the Diamondbacks were still at home, Gino Suarez tussled my hair like I was a small child and gave me a pat on the back. And one of those patented Gino smiles.
He gave you a noogie?
He gave me a noogie, a little bit of a noogie, a little bit of a loving pat. But I will say that, it was definitely heartbreaking to see what happened to Gino in yesterday's game. For those of you that might not know or missed it, or have somehow been sleeping for the last 24 hours, a lot of bad things have happened, including Gino Suarez getting hit in the hand in yesterday's game. Luckily, Gino was back in the dugout a little while later after exiting the game. He was all smiles. His hand did look swollen based on what I could see on the broadcast, but it wasn't wrapped or anything. Today, it was wrapped. He was out of the lineup today, so he is awaiting an MRI and a CT on that hand. Initial x-rays were negative, but we know how that goes. We've already seen that movie before. Meanwhile, we get the information after the game that Corbin Carroll did get the results of his MRI and his CT, and it did in fact reveal that left wrist chip fracture. So Corbin Carroll again on the 10-day IL, and then Josh Naylor left yesterday's game after an awkward swing and an awkward looking, like it looked like he was in a lot of pain. He left with right shoulder discomfort. Luckily, it looks like Josh Naylor is doing better. He was initially in the lineup today, but it was a late scratch. And apparently Torey said he was scratched due to only being about 85%, but still feeling a little sore. So they were going to give Naylor the extra day off. But that's good news, because it sounds like this isn't a big injury for Naylor. Hopefully Gino gets positive news from his MRI and his CT, and he doesn't miss too much time. But the Diamondbacks are running out of position players now in the same fashion in which they ran out of pitchers. So I don't know what to do here, and I don't know I don't know how to burn sage, but I will. I'll figure it out. I know that there's a shop at Arrowhead that sells like bundles of sage. I'll go buy some tomorrow and take it to the clubhouse on Friday. I will do whatever I can to make sure that this team does not befall any more injuries or have any more bad things happen to them. Apparently yesterday, in a drunken Rage sent out some sort of tweet about how I would dye my beard teal if it meant Gino was better. So I guess we're still waiting the results of that MRI, aren't we? But for now, let's go ahead and take a look at the numbers from today's game, presented by our friends at Desert Financial. The Diamondbacks outscore the White Sox in this one by a score of 4-1. The Diamondbacks out hit the White Sox 7-3. They were 2 for 5 with runners in scoring position, while the White Sox were 0 for 4. Both teams had 2 extra base hits. One of those extra base hits was a home run. The other one was a double. And then we also have the expected batting average there last. Diamondbacks had a 257 expected batting average to the White Sox 173. So again, this one not as thorough of a whooping as yesterday's game. At one point, it felt like in yesterday's game the Diamondbacks couldn't stop scoring runs, but still, I will take a win in any fashion, especially right now during this stretch. And again, I don't mean to get super doomsday about this, because these snakes are dogs. They're dogs, and they are finding a way to go out there and win. And these opportunities are being created for players like Jake McCarthy today, who once again still seems to be struggling offensively, but stepped up in a big way defensively out there. And it was just great to see that no-fly zone defense once again all together and making some spectacular plays. But that, or not all together, I shouldn't say Corbin's not out there, but those two guys are out there together. But it just it does create an opportunity here for guys to step up and help this team right now. And who knows how long some of these absences are going to be. The Diamondbacks literally needed to go out and add another catcher to this team, because they did not feel like Aramis Garcia was doing a good job. He was DFA'd. The Diamondbacks pick up James McCann here, and it'll be interesting to see how he kind of fits into things. He did place a phone call apparently to Corbin Burns to kind of get some intel on this pitching staff and maybe even on the other position players and such, because they do have a relationship playing based on playing together in the past. But the Diamondbacks just have to figure out a way to have enough living, breathing athletes to put out on the field for 9 men to play a baseball game at this point. So bear with Torrey and his lineups for the time being. Luckily, Ketel Marte, again, is playing some great baseball right now, and they are getting some timely pitching from their pitching staff. Tomorrow, they have Zach Gallen going in the finale of this series, and I have my concerns.
Well, Derek, we talked about it. Zach Gallen, kind of a nothing burger game disaster awaiting potentially.
A bad team from the Midwest, an early game, it has disaster
that
written all over
doesn't sound like a primetime game on the East Coast.
Yeah, no, not at all. It's a 11-10 start, 1-10 start in Chicago. So, of course, make sure to join us for that post-game show. We'll be doing a post-game show tomorrow after that game wraps. But let's go ahead and get an update here from the drunken orgy.
Well, 1 second on that. I wanted to wait until the Dodgers game went final, and it's in the 9th inning, I believe.
What is the score of that Dodgers game?
The Dodgers are currently up 3, bottom 8 on the Rockies. 2 outs there in the 8th inning.
And you're waiting on that, Damon?
Yeah, I mean, it's 2 teams, so I was trying to see how much the Diamondbacks were going to be back in the division. The Padres are also in a tied game with my Nips Hurts Nationals right now, and the Giants were down 3-0 to the Marlins. Now they're down 3-2, so a little bit of a closer one there.
The Giants were down 3-0. Now they're down 3-2.
Yeah, they clawed back a little bit.
I hate that Giants team.
It feels like that one's going to be a W for the Giants.
Yeah, it really does. It does. It feels like it's inevitable for that one to be stopped. But
I'll tell you what, Derek. I'll update us once this Dodgers-Rockies game. Oh, my God. The Rockies have pulled within 1.
Hey.
8-7.
Let's go. Let's go, Rocks Nation. Let's go, Fish. We're up. We've never ever been so back.
The Diamondbacks are 2.5 games back out of the wild card right now, Derek.
Damon, let's do this. Let's do some super chats, and then we'll do a quick break. And when we come back, we got some other stuff to talk about, and then we'll get a quick update on the NL West. Oh my God, my ex-wife is in the chat. How'd she find me? My ex-wife, thank you for the super chat. My ex-wife just said, why? I don't know. I ask myself that every single day in the mirror, so I don't have an answer for you on that. Piece of Yoshi in regards to all these batters being hit says charge the mound or hit Edgar Carroll. And I think, honestly, if you want to give some criticism to Torey Lovullo, it might just be the fact that maybe word is out that this man is more of a lover than a fighter, and he doesn't want to play that dirty form of baseball. So people are like, yeah, we can hit their batters. Who cares? He's not going to retaliate. He doesn't do that. And then that's it. Like, I want to talk a big game and make everybody think I'm going to hit them all the time, and then I never have to throw at a single batter, right? That's my approach in life in general. But I'm also the youngest of three brothers, so I kind of have to talk a lot of trash.
I kind of agree with you. I like in a way that the Diamondbacks are an organization that is very like, you know, they're like we're not going to get involved in that. We're above that. At the same time, though, when a scumbag like Shohei Ohtani mocks Lourdes Gurriel Jr., like, we need to retaliate that, do we not? Is anyone else as angry as I am about this?
I'm just saying.
I'll never forget.
All right. What else? We got BCSC, got some super chats. Excuse me. Said, oh my God, the Clips are back and so are the Diamondbacks. Yeah, that album's going to be a banger. They're saying album of the year, and it hasn't even dropped yet, Damon. Clips has never been so back. BCSC also says, Ketel Marte clears Fernando Bumtis Sr. bum. All right, we got that. And BCSC also says, Ketel Marte, a.k.a. Kagokute. Oh, I love that.
Is our hero. Yeah, one love.
Yeah. Kagotute. I can't even say that. I like Morte, though, at the end there. Anyway, well, let's go to we're going to do one last break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about this House bill passing through the Senate and through the House. And now is just Katie Hobbs' signature away from being approved so that the Diamondbacks can stay right here in the Valley and continue to make me lose my voice screaming about their baseball game. So don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, of course, Circle K is America's thirst stop. It is a great place to stop after you have a hoarse voice from screaming for your baseball team. It's also a great place to get ice, which the Diamondbacks need lots of ice at this point. They need all the ice. So go pick up some big bags of ice and deliver them to the Diamondbacks for their players. Of course, if you are an Inner Circle member, you might save on ice. You will save on Polar Pops. You'll get those for 79 cents. You'll save on gas. You'll save 25 cents off per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups and then 3 cents after that. And you'll save on all sorts of other stuff that regular people who aren't Inner Circle members won't save on. You'll get 3 for $7 Ghosts. You'll get 3 for $5 28-ounce Gatorades and 20-ounce Gator Lights. Have you messed with the Gator Lights, Damon?
So good.
So good.
Fire.
And I don't have to feel like I'm some sort of criminal drinking Pedialyte, because when I'm drinking Pedialyte, it's obvious that I'm hungover.
Yeah.
And I have, or I'm sick, one or the other.
Yeah.
Regardless, if you're drinking Pedialyte as an adult, I don't want to touch you.
But the Gator Light, I mean, yeah, you're right. It's more sophisticated.
It is. People don't even know it. People haven't even picked it up yet. So join the Inner Circle for free right now by downloading the Circle K app. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit circlek.com for details. And of course, whatever the moment, it is never ordinary over at Bet365. Get down on the live in-game betting, especially for games like this, because maybe our bullpen's figuring things out and you can feel a little bit more secure once you see the Diamondbacks get that 3-run lead there in the 7th inning. Of course, Bet365 pioneered live in-game betting, and they offer the widest range of games and markets available across 78 different sports. Of course, new customers right now can get down on a bonus bet offer. You can also get down on their MLB early payout offer, where you are a winner if your team goes up by 5 runs or more, regardless of the outcome of the game. And that's for straight bets and parlay selections, which will be marked as winners. But of course, like I said, new customers get down on $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5, win or lose. All you got to do is sign up, use that code PHNX365 when you do. Deposit $10 and place a bet of $5 or more to receive $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, players, props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or over and physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT-STEP to 53342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov. Well, Damon, before we get on to our updates on staying at Chase Field, we got to tell you about a party happening at Chase Field, and that is on July 3rd. And no, it is not Shane Diefenbach's birthday party. Even though that day does fall on his birthday, we are not celebrating Shane's birthday. Instead, we are celebrating being Diamondbacks fans, and we are defending the pool at our official PHNX Diamondbacks takeover on July 3rd at 6:40 p.m. against the San Francisco Giants. That is a very, very important series. We did not know booking this game that this series was going to be as important as it is. But you have fireworks happening in this game, both in the game against the Diamondbacks and the Giants, and fireworks literally happening after the game. It's going to be a great time. Make sure to join us. We're going to do the show at noon that day so that me and Damon can just have beers with the crew, with all of you guys, and hang out, have a great time, and enjoy not only hopefully a Diamondbacks win, but stick around, watch those fireworks afterwards. Have a total overall experience here. You can join us for that. There are very limited tickets left, and when I say limited, I believe we are down to less than 10 left. So if you are considering joining us, get down on that. There's not a lot of time left, not a lot of tickets left, and of course, the closer we move to the date, the more people scramble and suddenly want to go. It's the FOMO thing I was talking about earlier with Game Time, but you do get your ticket. You get complimentary food and beverages during the entirety of the game, and you also get that beach towel to take home with you. So make sure to wear your Defend the Pool shirt and join us here at Chase Field for our pool party takeover. And when I say here at Chase Field, I mean our home. And I mean, yeah, we having a takeover now, but we're going to have takeovers for years at Chase Field because that House Bill 2704 just got one step closer to being finalized. And I said it in our short that we made the other day, but it should be a formality at this point with how in on this entire situation, Governor Katie Hobbs, excuse me. I know I like to be called Mayor Derek Montilla, so I got to make sure I call her Governor Katie Hobbs. I know how much she wants to get this deal done, and I know how she kind of approved of the overall concept of this bill, the way it was worded. And that was before, quite frankly, the bill became a bit more conservative, passing through the Senate, and now it was approved through the state house. But this is big. This is big because this is it. This is the finish line. We are there. We can stop having these conversations. Like, I hate milking stuff that's bad news for content on this show, but sometimes, unfortunately, news is news. We cover this team. We have to talk about stuff like this. I've seen comments on our shows when we talk about this House bill about how much people don't want to hear about it. But considering that I do this for a living, it was very important to me personally that this got figured out. But more than just me, it was so much more important to so many of you out there. So many of you that love baseball, have loved this team. You live and die with this team. I thought it was unfair to start using our emotions against us in regards to this and start having to make us worry and panic and be fearful that this team was going to leave. However, I don't think it was fabricated fear or fear mongering. I think it was accurate. I think it was appropriate. I think it was the real situation. Sometimes in life, the reality is that if you don't do things to keep your sports franchises in the town that they're in, that they could leave. And they could leave for a variety of reasons. But a lot of times they leave because they don't really feel welcomed any longer in the town that they're in. This bill is the most sensible way for the Diamondbacks to upgrade Chase Field and to renovate it to, you know, make it a better home for us all to visit and watch baseball at, not just for the Diamondbacks, but, you know, I mean, to make it stop being the laughing stock of baseball. Look at these things that we've covered in the past, right, Damon? The rankings of stadiums and, you know, where Chase Field sits, and that it's this, like, you know, in fact, here playing the White Sox, I believe at the beginning of the season, Chase Field was ranked just above the White Sox. and this is not including the 2 AAA stadiums because they were obviously at the bottom of the list. But as far as major league stadiums that teams play in, they were ranked just above the White Sox for the worst stadium in baseball, right? And I don't know if that's fair, but I can say that in visiting other stadiums that and we were just having this conversation about the best ballparks in baseball, you're rarely gonna find someone that thinks Chase Field is in the top 10. And a lot of that is due to the age, but a lot of it is just due to the upkeep and the fact that the stadium is kind of, in need of some love and care. And of course, to recapture the tax from people spending money at the stadium, buying tickets, buying merchandise, spending money on food and concessions, and using that tax for the stadium absolutely makes the most sense and is the way that most tax stadium situations should be structured. That way I know it impacts the community because it does take the tax revenue away from Chase Field that people would be paying for their stuff there and putting it towards city services. But like I've said in the past, if that team, that sports team, doesn't exist in that valley, in that city, in that state, then what does it matter that you're not getting as much tax revenue from that team if you're not getting any at all anymore? And that's the danger that we were in. And it would seem like we are just one signature away from that danger going away, at least for, I mean, as far as the Diamondbacks are contractually tied to it, right? We don't even have to worry about this until 2035 because that would be when they have to stay without being penalized. But beyond that, these renovations will allow the Diamondbacks to finally sign a new lease at Chase Field. And I don't know what the amount of time that lease is going to be for, but whatever that amount of time is for, is the amount of time that we can no longer have to have these discussions about our baseball team leaving our state. And again, I know for me personally, I'm selfish. I have a reason here, but I love this team. I love this team, whether I'm covering them or whether I'm just a fan. The idea of a baseball team that I wanted so bad when I was a kid, because we didn't have baseball when I was a kid here in this state. I had to root for other teams. Damon will tell you that's how my Dodger fandom became, but he's a liar, and that's not a true origin story at all. But what I will say is that I wanted a baseball team, and when we finally got one when I was in high school, I was ecstatic, right? And so the idea of the Diamondbacks leaving is heartbreaking to me for so many reasons. And I'm glad that that's not something that we really need to worry about any longer, barring, any setbacks here with Governor Katie Hobbs. So it feels really good for the Diamondbacks to finally have this behind them. I don't think that this was impacting the team in any way, but I think it definitely was impacting Derek Hall and people that are in the front office, as far as, this having the closer we got to 2027, the more the reality of this team possibly leaving the state was real, right? It's very similar to this whole situation with the trade deadline where, the Diamondbacks have to do something to avoid Mike Hazen getting, making some uncomfortable phone calls that we don't want him to have here at the end of July. And the way that they can do that is by continuing to stay hot and continuing to play good baseball like they've done so far in the month of June. Of course, Damon has a big reason why that's happening. We got Cogs here in the chat. Cogs was just in Toronto. Now he's popping in from Atlanta. He says, popping in from ATL. I complete tomorrow in audio production. Yay, good for you. What he competes tomorrow in audio production.
Careful right here.
Just to say, F that fan, unforgivable. Their brain should be studied after they D. Yeah, you guys can read the rest of that, but I don't know. I don't care for anything. I don't want any science about that person, quite frankly. There are bad people in life, and sometimes those bad people can say bad things that can hurt people very much, and I think that's what we saw tonight. I'm thankful that if this is the reason why Ketel Marte was crying, I'm thankful that it's not bad news that happened. Very thankful. But I will say that people are horrible. And I think that there's a certain contract, there's a certain etiquette that we all need to follow. And quite frankly, in the time of covering this team, which I've done for a long time, I've seen that etiquette go away. And I've seen people say some pretty awful stuff on social media, and I've seen people say some pretty awful stuff in the stadium. And again, what I implore everybody to remember is that these players are human beings, and they are heartbroken over these injuries, and they are disappointed. They feel all the emotions you feel about this team tenfold. You know, the frustrations, the sadness, the heartbreak when they get injured. Like, they've seen it so much, right? But there's no reason why any of us should go to a baseball game or any sporting event, or quite frankly anything, and start shouting something as terrible as this fan shouted tonight. So anyway, we're going to wrap it up. I've gone on for way too long. This fan pissed me off, so now I'm angry. But hey, we'll move on in life. We all do. Damon, I guess we throw it to overtime. We'll do that. Extra innings, whatever. I still call it extra innings. But we appreciate you guys, of course, wherever you're watching us. If you're watching over on your favorite app on TV, come on over to gophnx.com. We're going to wrap things up over here. But big win for the Diamondbacks. Again, Zach Gallen on the mound tomorrow. They go for the S word. I'm not going to say it this time, I promise. But I think the last time I did screw up, they did the S word. So maybe I should say it. I don't know. I'm conflicted. Ketel Marte, great player, great guy, and someone who doesn't deserve to be treated the way some opposing fan treated him tonight. But another excellent night for Ketel Marte. So I understand trying to break him. This man is incredibly good, and he doesn't play for your baseball team, so you're jealous and you want him over there. Marte hits his 15th home run of the year, and he continues to be awesome at baseball, slashing .320, .424 with a .608 slug, 1.032 OPS this season. Diamondbacks, again, 14-7 in the month of June, the best record this month in the National League. They improved to 41-38 with this 4-1 win over the Chicago White Sox. And we thank each and every one of you guys for being here in the chat tonight. Excuse the sweat running down my face. I think I've done a good job of hiding it as much as possible. But me and Damon need to go turn on every fan in this office right now.
As soon as this show is over, Derek is going to run to a fan and sit in front of it on the highest setting for about 10 minutes. I put it on the highest setting, and I just hold it in front of my face. Sometimes I walk around as far as the cord will let me take it, but that's definitely going to happen right after this is done. But I'm not nearly as hot as the Diamondbacks are right now. They stay hot when they need to, and again, excuse me, big win for the Diamondbacks. We will be back tomorrow. Early start, 11:10 a.m. tomorrow here in Phoenix. So go get yourself some brunch, watch some baseball, and then join us afterwards. We will be live with another post-game show. Until then, we implore you to follow us on social media. I am at @cap_caveman, and that's pretty much everywhere you can find me. Damon is at Damon Dog. That's DAWG. He is Damon Dog, and we are all Damon's dogs. Bark, bark. Our show is at PHNX_Dbacks, but as always, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We thank you again for your time and your all of your comments. People telling me I look moist. Thank you. I'm glowing, and it's the sweat. What's your skincare routine?
It's called turning off the air conditioning after 5 p.m. in an office building, and then just sitting here and ripping it about baseball. That's my skincare routine. But appreciate all of you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Hope you join us then. Until then, have yourselves a wonderful evening. Behave yourselves, and remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when you treat baseball players like they're human.
We all silly like the mayor.